Help me, Dr. Lee. We're working from the inward self to the outside world. Within the 5 less days, I've A, lost my job. 2, I'm getting screened for cancer. 3, had a failed car. This car didn't start. I will say Murphy's Law is definitely proven. I think I feel okay. Right now I'm on my way down across the state for the second time within the week. I went down to Cincinnati on my motorcycle, and now I'm driving down in my car. Right now, I'm actually made it to Cincinnati, Ohio, where I actually grew up, and I've been traveling around, learning, networking. I talked a little bit about Murphy's Law and how when things go wrong, they will. So everything that kind of happened all at once. I don't always respond to things right away. And it takes me some time to process things. It takes me some time to react to things even emotionally. What I'll do is, what I'd like to kind of format this video as is talking about the things that I really want to own up to. And this is my aim in trying to own up to everything that's happened, to give myself that agency and control to make a decision of what I will do next. We will review what is Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law states that when things can go wrong, they will. Losing my job, my car not starting, and the third thing was my health and screening, and that was for pre-cancer. So I'm here jotting some notes down, and as I talk, because I don't have solutions for you all for all my problems right away, and I have realizations that come usually kind of at later in these entries, what I'll do is I'll talk about these situations. 1, I'll say what the situation is, and then 2, I'll go into my response immediately following that news. And then hopefully I can, round it out into a solution. I'll start with a question. How many of you have had something happen? Let's say something happens with Murphy's Law. Something happens, and the first reaction that you have to it is, why me? Why is this happening to me? I'll even take my first gut reaction. Why did this have to happen to me? What did I do wrong? So that would be an example. So I lost my job and I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I did see some bad impending things that could come along the way. I was in full denial that they would actually happen that way. The one thing I will say is that in losing my job, I can definitely take accountability for the reason why I lost it as being something completely to my fault, a mistake or an accident. The failures of my system, though, the environment in which I was in was conducive to that failure. So, and you'll hear a lot of pharmacists talk about this, especially in Ohio right now. We're very busy, we're multitasking, which, as everybody knows, multitasking doesn't actually truly exist. The brain doesn't really function that way. You're trading a focus of being on task to being off task with everything. But there is this idea that, well, if this person is at least getting 50% of certain tasks done, and there's 3 to 4 of them, it's more efficient to the company's eyes than getting one task done at 100%. In that respect, the environment was not conducive to my success. So I'll own that. I lost my job. I reacted in a negative way. And then I wanted to morph this into something positive. So what I did was I owned that and stated, well, asking my question, is this really what I want? Do I really want this in my life? Where do I see myself, years from now? Am I actually looking up to the people around me? Take a look around you at your current job. Do you want to end up like those people? That's usually when you know if you're in the right job or not. So the second one, my car didn't start. My car didn't start. I freaked out. And the first thing I asked was, why? Why my car? Why is this happening to my car? So that's a great question to start with. And so I answered my own question. The battery was dead. And I noticed that because the lights weren't turning on. I couldn't even, get it to I couldn't even turn the lock. Even the locks weren't working. So I knew something was going on with the battery. So I was like, well, how do I figure this out? Luckily, I did have AAA, not endorsing them necessarily, but I did have a emergency car service that came out and helped me with that mechanical issue. So owning that, and then I know how to prevent my car from dying again, hopefully. Now, I can't speak to the other mechanical problems, but at least check. 1 and 2 were done. Number 3, health screen. How do I own this? So I am being screened for pre-cancer, and you might be like, well, how can I be in control of preventing cancer? We're surrounded by things that cause cancer all the time. With this particular one, I can tell you that it is important to be healthy. Now, that's such a broad statement, and it's hard to just turn around and be healthy from day one. But I think that the way that I can own this and the way that it's helping me now in how I look at things is I am looking at things in particular to my health that I can change immediately on day one. In particularly my stress levels. I know that if my stress levels are increased, my immune system might not work as optimally or at high efficiency as I would like. My immune system is actually equipped with anti-cancer cells that attack things that are not within the scheme of the body, that don't fit the body, that don't, my immune system knows how to find things that might cause problems in my body. So if my stress levels are high, my, military and my armed and protective mechanisms in my body will not be able to, snuff out the enemy early. A second thing that I think about with my health is, particularly what foods am I ingesting? I'm thinking about, am I doing too much meat? Where is the meat coming from? Are the animals healthy? So with animal products, it can be pretty challenging because I want to make sure that I'm putting a happy and healthy animal within me, but also, thinking about, well, what other things can I put in the body besides animal products that'll be good? Obviously fruits, vegetables, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, things like that. So my mind is framed to always thinking about how can I get more of good stuff and less the bad. And so another thing you think about is vices, smoking and drinking. You want to really try to minimize these if you can't eliminate them right away. So that's owning the health. So hopefully, it gives you a little bit of a overview of how I think about things, and you can gain a couple things from it. You can see how a healthcare provider is trying to provide care for themselves, and also accountability of self allows me to hopefully rise above it. So that's it. I'll leave you with that. And in terms of solution, I would say owning it and taking that responsibility to say, yep, that happened. I did that. What can I do today? And how can I think about it? Living life, enjoying things. Once I own it, then I'll be in control of things. I'll have that power to decide, well, what am I going to do in the next step?